Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mampolo from Mampolo's Corner. Renew your mindset. I have been listening to this Prophet Jeremiah's and Ruth Matthew's case all over the internet. It's been burning internet. Everybody with their own opinion, everybody with their own case, everybody with their own postulation. Make una they calm down now. Make una they calm down. This one will come, Jeremiah is not to be blamed. The other one will come, Ruth is to be blamed. The other one will come, how can you blame Ruth? The other one will come, how can you blame Jeremiah? Now you people are confusing the internet and confusing the people who are supposed to follow the investigative process. You people are truncating the process of investigation and judicial process. All this one when they come like say, oh, this one will come say this one happened, this one happened. Allow the law to take its course. Allow the process of investigation to be completed before you know who to blame and who not to blame. At the initial stage, I said I was not going to make this video at all. I was not going to talk concerning about this case. It's been a long time. It's been going. I was ignoring it. But I have decided to make this video because of a singular reason. That is a video James Lekute TV made. And he was asking several questions. And that questions, this my video is going to answer most of his questions. That is one of the reasons why I want to make this video. So that those that also watch that video may also have the opportunity to get some answers to his question. Before we begin to give answers to his questions, let's watch his videos first.
This woman, he carry a pikin go give Prophet Jeremiah, say take him for hand. That's number one. Number two, ask yourself this question. Prophet Jeremiah carrying pikin, they do baby dedication. I be Prophet Jeremiah collect pikin for his hand, they do anything where no can return him. Ask yourself that question, because when you they accuse person, you must get evidence to prove. We don't hear say children don't lost for schools, even for schools. Are you going to hold the proprietor? Proprietor can't give me my pikin. Proprietor when no day school that day.
Guys, have you watched that video? I am going to answer this guy in a simple and correct English, okay? And why do I want to use simple and correct English? I'm not going to speak broken here, because I want to use the right terminologies to address him so that he will understand what the issue is all about here. Okay? I do understand it's like you rush into this video and you begin to, speak. I don't have issue with that. And I do understand that everybody must not be versatile in every field. And you must not know everything. Likewise, myself, I don't know everything. There are some aspects you might know more than myself, so we acknowledge that and I respect that. Number one question he asked, did this woman give this child to Prophet Jeremiah, or did he give it to him to do baby dedication and he did not return it back? So your question is, was the child handed to his custody physically? I think that's what you are asking. That's number one question. I want to answer this question with the last one you asked. The one you said, if a child got missing in the school, are you going to hold the proprietor? Because Prophet Jeremiah is now like the proprietor of that church, which I understand what you are saying. He's the head and the founder of the Mercy Land, where they proposed, or where they said that was the last hour the child was missing, where the child visited with the mother. So listen, now by law, James, you don't need to necessarily bring the child to the owner of the organization's custody physically before you know that the owner of the organization hold that child duty of care. Okay? So you don't necessarily need to say, oh, do you see his video when they are giving the child to the proprietor, in this case now, Prophet Jeremiah, before you know that Jeremiah owes everybody who is in his building or in his church duty of care. I will explain properly. What do I mean by duty of care? A duty of care is a tort law under common law, which states that every organization, every individual, every corporation owes duty of care as a legal responsibility to take a reasonable care to protect everyone associated with you or to that organization against any form of foreseeable harm. You see that? So it is a legal requirement. You don't necessarily need to have that person individually. You see, it's a legal requirement that when you open an organization, You must owe everybody that comes to that organization, be it your staff, be it the member of the church, be it the public that comes to that church, to do one or two things. You owe them what is called duty of care. So this duty of care does not automatically mean that Prophet Jeremiah is now indicted. Okay? The duty of care does not automatically mean that Prophet Jeremiah is liable. No. The duty of care does not mean that Prophet Jeremiah is guilty of the missing child. Understand where this thing is coming from. So from point of law, investigation must have to go on to see if Prophet Jeremiah has put things in place necessary to fulfill the duty of care towards that child. And when the investigation goes on and the law finds out that Prophet Jeremiah have done his bit, that make sure that everybody who comes to that church or to that premises was supposed to be secured, all things being equal, he's done his bit, he has no question to answer. Okay? Nobody is going to indict him. He's not going to be liable, and he's not guilty of anything. But when you are coming out thinking that, oh, if somebody gets mixing in a school, the proprietor or the owner of that school will not be questioned, you are totally wrong. He's the first person that will be questioned. Questioning you does not mean that you are responsible for the harm, but they are questioning you because the process of investigation need to go through, and you must allow it. If that child was seen in the last hours of his life in that premises, the law demands that they must have to question the owner of that premises so that the flow of investigation will be simple. Investigation is all about traceability of where this child has touched. He moves from here, he went to that place, he moved from here, he moved to that place. But because he has been there in the last hour of his life or of his missing, they must have to question the owner of that church. It's not a big deal. And it's not like when they are questioning Prophet Jeremiah, they are saying that he is the one that took the child, or he is the one that know the child's whereabouts. No. It is traceability of investigation. They need to trace it. Trace the investigation. It's a process. And everybody should be calm. And I see lots of people, vloggers, everywhere fighting themselves on social media because of Prophet Jeremiah and Ruth Matthew. Why are you fighting? Are you people the police or you are the court? We don't need to fight about this. I cannot come to Mampolo's corner now and say that, oh, the child is with Prophet Jeremiah. That would be so crazy of me. It makes me daft, isn't it? It makes me very much uneducated. I can't say that with my mouth. I cannot say it's Prophet Jeremiah that knows the whereabouts of the child. He should go and bring it. Why would you make that statement? It is very derogatory, and you are not allowed to make that until the process of investigation is completed. Then the police and the court will tell us how the thing happened. We don't know. I don't know. And there are some other people as well that said, oh, the mother knows what she's doing. She's playing game. It is because she knows where that child is. You can't make that statement. You cannot make that statement. Because if you are making that statement, you are truncating the process of investigation. Allow the process of investigation to complete before you begin to utter words. It makes when you begin to utter words or cite anybody, whether Prophet Jeremiah or Ruth Matthew, you are being biased. You are being biased. And when I watch your video, Lekute, your video was a bit biased, citing only the prophet. No, that is not the right way. Someone who is a public figure, you speak. You don't begin to ask that question as if you feel that the woman has no right to cry out. I mean, this is human being missing. She needs to cry out, not even only her. And that's why you see social media, lots of people are talking about it. Lots of people are speaking about it. But anybody who is saying that it's Prophet Jeremiah that is having the child, he should provide the child, you know whereabout, you are making a serious mistake. That is error. You are not even allowed to say that by law. Nobody knows the whereabouts of the child until the process of investigation is completed. And allow the police and allow the judiciary to do their job. And let's hear what they come out with before we begin to indict people, before we begin to accuse people. So no, at this time now, we are all helping. Everybody should be helping to look for the child. Prophet Jeremiah should be in the process of the investigation, helping to find a child, because that child has visited that church in the last hour, and that church owes that child a duty of care. And that church even owes the mother of that child a duty of care. The church owes everybody that is associated to that church, that come and visit that church and go, duty of care. That is only when or where that church or the Prophet Jeremiah is involved in the process of this investigation. There's no how this investigation will be completed without him being involved, without him being questioned. He has to be questioned because that child has visited there. Now, let me tell you what area he may be questioned according to law, especially according to law in Western world. You know, in Africa, una law, una know as una dey bend some of them. But all things being equal, in a country where things are working rightly, in a country where laws take its course properly, he needs to be questioned in some certain areas. And what are these certain areas? These certain areas encompasses this duty of care, you know, under this taught law. Now, number one area is what is called health and safety. The place this boy visited last time, or the last hour, according to the proposition of the mother, the church or the venues or the organization he visited, that organization must be questioned with regards to health and safety. Is that place that child visited, was it safe for the child? Did the organization make sure that anybody that visits that place as a child, as an adult, that they will come there safely and go back home safely? Is every template of that organization made perfect in terms of health and safety? They will need to question you regarding that. It does not mean that you are the one that took the child. No, but if there is a negligence, that there are some things you would have put in place with respect to health and safety, and you did not do it, you may be held liable. That is what we call breach of duty of care. You see how he might be involved, or how the organization might be involved. The church, is it Mercyland? The church called Mercyland. This is how he may be involved in this process. If, for example, where the child visited, there is a gap that a child can go out and fall down. You know, I'm giving an example. I'm not saying this is what happened. And that child from up and fell down, and the child died there. I want to use spy for the people of this world. The child died there. They will question, why was this gap here? Don't you know that children visit this place? You should have covered this gap. You should have built a security on this gap so that children will not be able to go through. That is health and safety. If you did not do it and something happened to a child, truthfully, you are not the one that took that child through that process to go and fall and die. But because you did not put the right measure to prevent that child going through that place, you will be questioned and you may be held liable. But I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm giving just an example of health and safety. So most of the organization must put in place, make sure that their health and safety, their place is well organized to prevent some harm to people that visit the organization. Number two area they might question an organization under duty of care is what is called food and hygiene. Like most of people that do restaurants and all that, you can't just come and use a dirty place and be cooking for people. There's what called food and hygiene. You owe people duty of care to make your restaurants very neat, free from all those mouse and rodents, so that they will not be giving people what is called diseases in their system. When they eat, they begin to sick and go and die. So you understand what I mean. This is now food and hygiene is a part of duty of care. You owe to anybody that visits your restaurant or your organization. You see, so people that come to your place, if someone comes to your place and eat something and his tummy begin to rumble and eventually leads to his death, you will be questioned. Even in your house, your private house. They won't leave you because you are not the one that did the physical harm. No, the investigative process, we need to involve you, to answer some questions so that they can get to the root of the problem. I think that is what I see only that may involve Prophet Jeremiah. But for anybody who is saying, oh, it is him that is with the child, you're talking like somebody who is uneducated and talking like someone who is daft. To be honest, you can't say that it's Prophet Jeremiah that has the child. You can't say it's the mother that has the child. You can't point finger at anybody now, because at this time it is not traceable to anybody. So at this point, everybody should keep mute and begin to observe. Yes, I understand you want justice for everybody, but the justice is not only for the Ruth Matthew. There should be justice for the man of God as well. If he's not the one that did it actually, I mean, he will be hot. He will be very hot as a man. You see, because his good wills, his good name, and his reputation over time is at stake here. Even his church, which is where he work, that is his business, that is his work, is at stake, is at risk when this thing boomerang to him. So before you make those statements, you must be careful that you have fact and figure to do it. That is only where I agree with James. You see, you need proof to make some comment. If you don't have that proof, you are not allowed to come and say it is him, it is the mother. Nobody knows who is responsible until we get to the end of this investigation. And the investigation proves that it is this person before we begin to utter most of these derogative and very annoying words to anybody. So the third area that an organization or an individual must have duty of care to anybody that come in contact with you or to your organization is the area of child protection, especially in an organization. If you have an organization, you know that children visit your organization. Children are part of your congregation. Children are part of your membership. You must be extremely careful. Some measures must have to be put in place. Why? Because you know children, they run, they go places you don't even send them. You know, they are vulnerable. You see, children are vulnerable. So in such organization like church, for example, you must have what is called competent children department. That department must be competent. Competent in what area? In the area of security, how you guide them, how they are protected, what they put in their mouth, what they eat, how they touch things, how they touch electricity, how they touch wires. Naked, you must be guiding them, because if anything happens while they are in that premises, you will be questioned. There's no two ways about that one. You will be questioned, irrespective of why is the mom not holding her, why is the mom not holding him, why is the mom not holding the child. You can't do that. The mom is there to serve God. There are some times, what if those times you people do miracle? The mom has gone to spirit and he doesn't know where the son is. Don't you know you must make provision to take care of the vulnerable child while you are doing the miracle and while you are turning them up and down? You must make provision for that as well. So you must have what is called competent children department in terms of security, especially their security. You must make provision for that. As a matter of fact, when you go to church, the children are not supposed to be in the main church with the parents and all that. We have what is called children department. So when the parents come in, they hand in their child to you. Immediately they hand in their child to the children department teacher. The church owes that parent what is called duty of care. Duty of care. If you breach that duty of care out of your negligence, you will be liable to many things. I'm telling you. And that comes to that you are school, you are asking me question. You are asking question. If you take your child to a school and the child got missing, are you going to hold the proprietor? Yes. The proprietor is the first person to be questioned. We must have to know the measure they have put in place to control that foreseeable harm that came to that child. You must know the measure. If you don't know that now. So like my children now, if I'm taking them to school, immediately I go to school, hand over my children to the school. That is the end of my responsibility of that child until that school closes for that day for me to come and pick them up. They hand them back to me. But for that duration of time they are in school, those school hours, if anything happened to any of my child, the proprietor of the school, the head mistress of the school, they are in trouble. They are in a serious mess. If you don't know it now. I don't know how things work in Nigeria. What do you mean if you take your child to a school and your child got missing? Who do you think I will hold, if not the proprietor? What kind of crazy question is that? I got angry, but I tried to be a bit calm while I'm addressing this thing, because I see it as a form of teaching and a form of a high education, because I didn't even know that somebody as big as you, I don't know all this at this point. Or you were intending to be naturally biased to this. You see, but you know, when you are biased in some judgment or in some representation, you make yourself look a bit not educated. You wouldn't want that. You must be unbiased and straightforward when you are judging cases, so that people who are watching you should be able to derive knowledge from what you are saying. You don't just come to put camera on your face. How can you be doing this? How can you say somebody is holding somebody? How can you say if we can take somebody to a school, do you think, are you going to hold the proper? You don't just talk, put camera and begin to talk papa. Reason what you are going to say, think about it, and you say it. If you take a child to school and that immediately you drop that child to the teacher, the school have the responsibility of that child in every way. The school owe that child a duty of care until the closing period or the closing time, where you, the father or the mother, will go and pick up that child. Anything that happened to that child within those period of their school or their study on that day, my brother, the proprietor is in a mess. I'm not joking. In this part of the world, like for example in UK, my friend, no repeat that thing again. No talker. My own child, when I give you, we know that even missing is too much. Say the child is missing, or the child have gone missing. Is a big one you are talking about. It's too much. That my child had injury. If you see the proprietor panicking, if you see panicking, if you see, please, we see what we are going to do, we see what we're going to do, they will be panicking so that they will not go to court. You don't know what you are talking about. Talking about missing child, missing human being. Now, are you going to question the proprietor? Is that how much your knowledge is? Because I do follow you, I do watch your things, but that one you did yesterday throw me off. He made me to feel, say, what is this guy talking about? I thought you are learned. I thought you are learned. You don't need to be a lawyer to know some certain things. So another area is synonymous to that third one. That is safeguarding young people. If you see your organization, young people come there often as well, you must put measures in place to safeguard them. Because if anything happened to them while they are in your premises, the law will question you. If you are not careful, if they find that you are in breach of duty of care, you will be held liable. And finally, just for the sake of this teaching, another area that you might owe people duty of care, that one is more important to we that are in abroad. It's what we call diversity and equality. You need to treat everybody equally. You don't need to be racial to people because this people are this color, this people are this color. You treat everybody equally. That's why in this area we are. In Africa as well, there should be equality and diversity as well. But all things being equal, I don't know if they apply that or they don't apply. Because there is too much gap between the rich and the poor. It's not supposed to be like that. Everybody is supposed to be treated equally, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are Hausa or Igbo, whether you are Yoruba or Igbo. But I don't think it happens like that, because there is preferential treatment for rich people and there is another treatment for poor people. It's not supposed to be like that in any organization. So you hold everybody who comes into your organization to be treated equally as a duty of care as well. So any breach of all these I have mentioned for you now, if you breach them due to your negligence, the law will cut up to you to be questioning you and investigating you to see if you have done your bit when it comes to duty of care to the subject matter or somebody or the person who is harmed. That is, to me, that is only what I see happening to Prophet Jeremiah now. That does not mean that he is indicted. That does not mean that he is guilty. That does not mean that he is liable at this stage. It's just a process of investigation. When after they investigate the church, check where the boy visited, and make sure that there was nothing that was supposed to harm the boy there, and everything was secure there, they will leave him alone. And when they are going on this investigation, things they are going to be looking out for is something like good practices. Good practices, like I mentioned before, children department, how is the children department, how safe it is, who are the people securing those children, are they qualified to do that? Who is supposed to be at the gate when children are moving out? These are good practices. They will check all those things. Another good practice is something like CCTV. Are there cameras at the entrance, at the exit? So that when things happen there, they will be able to trace the people that did evil there at the camera. Because cameras, something like CCTV, they are all security apparatus, you see. So they want to know if these security apparatus are there, depicting what is called good practices. So in summary, they want to know if the government is safe for such age of child to be This is all what they are looking out for. Nobody is saying, like, person like that will never come here and say Jeremiah is responsible for the child. Am I not okay? I can't do that. Or the mother is responsible for the child. Or someone which I don't see the evidence that they are the one responsible for the child. I mean, people that are saying that you are making the social media tire me. I've watched others and watched others. Not until I even watch this Lekute own that is saying that you're not going to blame person, you're not going to blame. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Oh, he's not supposed to be involved. No, 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 no. He's supposed to be involved in the process of investigation. When he's not found wanted, he goes. There's no big deal there.
Now, let me continue. This matter don't happen since 2 years ago. This woman now, waiting come make and stop to the talk about the matter for good 2 years ago. Waiting happen. Because me no say, if person lost in Pikin where say you born, I'm not sure say you go fit sleep. Talk less of say you leave matter for good 2 years. What has changed now between last year and this year? What has changed?
So coming to your second question, why would you be saying that? Why would you be saying that? Something happened to someone 2 years ago. He said it that time. Yeah, it's not now I heard this news. I heard it about 2019 or something like that, ending of 2019. I heard about this news. So it has been voiced out. I believe that investigation must have been going on over the time. You know, if you have not seen the end, you have not seen the end. And another thing is that when something like this happens to someone, even that mother might go into depression. You lost a child. Do you think psychologically you'll be all right? I'm just presuming. I'm just giving you answers, possible answers. It might be that he's been shuttling hospital and coming back. It might be that the woman is traumatized and afraid. You know, because maybe he's the kind of caliber of person he wants to do with is too big. He doesn't know how to pursue it. Now he's able to gather himself over the years to get people that will help her to pursue the case forward. I'm just saying all these things as possibilities. I'm not saying this is what happened. But I'm answering your questions because it is you, Lekute, that made me to shoot this video. I was not wanting to contribute to this video until I see the end of the investigation because I'm somebody that renew mindset. I come here with facts and figure. So I'm only addressing your video, not Jeremiah and Ruth. No, you. The questions you are asking is what I'm addressing. Most of your questions are very biased, okay, and you are answering them on one side. Try to balance things when you are making them. People are looking up to you. It's not enough. It's not enough. So you can't say because somebody have started this thing 2 years ago and because he didn't say it 1 year plus or in the next 2 years, he should shut up for a child that died. No, it's a wrong statement. You can't make that statement. In this country where I am, in United Kingdom, cases of 40 years ago, they dig it out. They begin to say it. I will be wondering, maybe this thing happened 40 years ago. Cases of 65 years ago, 50 years ago, they bring it out. They become a fresh case. And they begin to fire it. You'll be wondering, say, why is this case coming up after 50 years, 55 years? And you are saying 2 years. What are you talking about? Are you okay? 2 years is nothing. That's a fresh case. So something may have happened and the person did not get enough evidence to pursue case. He will rest. Each time more fresh evidence comes out, that case comes up. That doesn't mean that case is dead. It's not dead, okay? Cases can come out anytime, depending on when fresh evidences come out, okay? And cases can be stopped temporarily, depending on the mental state of the people who are involved as well. So lots of factors might cause a case to be pending. That does not mean that case will not come out subsequently. Does that answer your questions? Guys, if you love what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. All I'm on Polos. Can I love you guys? Peace out.